Previously on Alan Wake. I came to Bright Falls with my wife, Alice.
Thank you for coming here with me. I thought maybe you could write here.
I don't want to hear it! God damn it, Alice!
Now, she's missing.
Alice? Alice?
I woke up behind the wheel of a crashed car. I'm missing a week. I was attacked by shadowy men straight from a nightmare. The sheriff took me to the lake Alice and I had stayed at, but the cabin had disappeared.
I'm home.
Back here, sweetie. How was it?
Worst weather I've ever seen.
You should put some coffee on. It'll warm you up.
What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome back. This is going to be episode 2 for our Alan Wake Remastered walkthrough. Again, thanks to Epic Games for sending me a key so I can show it off to you guys.
Hey, handsome. This is going to be a long night, but these shots are turning out great.
I guess you're gonna need that coffee then. I'll go put it on.
First collectible is going to be right here. You can really tell the difference, especially in this level, how the Remastered has updated its graphics and whatnot.
Coffee's on.
Great, thanks. I'll need it if I'm gonna finish this by tomorrow.
Oh, hey, I just finished those cover mock-ups. They're on your desk. Tell me what you think.
No kidding. I didn't think you'd get them done this quickly.
On occasion, I can perform all sorts of miracles, my dear.
Oh, really?
Well, you seemed to think so last night.
I love the little banter between them. You see, in the original version, there was like nothing really here. It was just a set of pills, which I think is kind of like a little homage to Max Payne and whatnot. So pretty cool stuff. But I'm not going to waste your time with all this. We're going to go ahead and move on here.
The continuing freezing rain and heavy snowfall have necessitated a winter storm warning in the entire tri-state area. People are advised to stay indoors, as many roadways are already closed, and city officials are not expecting snow crews to keep up with the weather. We're now on the third day of the blizzard, and the weather is not expected to clear up anytime soon.
Not too much in there, so nothing to really look at. Very, very small section of this level right here anyways. You can see all the books. The Fall of Casey, The Things That I Want, Alex Casey, What I Can't Forget, and Return to Sender. Pick up the manuscript pages. It's going to be 2 of them.
It's true what they say about the fall and the sudden stop at the end. I'd lain here in the snow while the lurid chain of scenes that had led me here kept playing in my head. A rerun of my own private snuff movie. A memory of my corpse. Alone at my own wake. Thinking in metaphors again. The femme fatale was gone. Only a sour taste remained of the kiss that killed me.
Of course, all of you probably recognize his voice. It's Max Payne himself.
This was a late goodbye. 13 years after I'd gotten my revenge. It had finally caught up with me. It had been a long time to bear the pain. My blood painted the snow red. A gruesome slushy dissolved all the scattered painkillers and leisurely dripped down to the sewer, mingling with the bile of the city, becoming one with it. I can see them now, my wife and my baby. Honey, I'm home.
Just great voice acting throughout in this entire game.
These look really good.
Oh, sure, until Burry gets his hands on them. Which, by the way, will happen over my dead body. The last time was the last time. Oh, and speaking of Burry, he called.
Alan? Alan, please check the fuse box.
I'm right here. I'm on it, honey.
Please hurry.
I'm right here, baby.
I'm fine. Just get the lights back on, now,
Honey,
please.
it's a power outage. I've got the flashlight.
Hi, okay.
You okay?
I'm sorry. It just really spooked me.
Don't worry. We'll just break out the candles.
I know it's stupid, but it's just... Especially when I'm not prepared for it, you know? It gets to me.
I love you.
Tell me a story, writer.
Okay. I used to have these nightmares when I was a kid. The dark really spooked me, too. When it got really bad, my mom gave me this old light switch. She called it the clicker.
The clicker, huh?
Yeah. If I ever got scared of the dark, I could just flip the switch and a magic light would scare the monsters away.
Oh, sure.
Here it is.
Alan.
Maybe it'll help you, too.
Yeah, nice story, writer boy. You made that up right now, didn't you?
No. Seriously.
I love you, even if you are a liar. Thanks for this.
How do you feel, Mr. Wake? Any nausea, disorientation, anything like that? Mr. Wake, how are you feeling?
I'm okay. My head's fine. I had to lie about my headache and memory loss. He'd send me to a hospital for tests. I couldn't leave without Alice.
Very well. I don't think you have a concussion, but you've obviously been through quite a shock. You should take it easy for a couple of days.
Thanks.
Well then, Mr. Wake, we're done here. If the pain gets any worse or you experience any other symptoms, you should come see me. I'll let you get on with it then. Sarah, Sheriff Breaker, is waiting for you. She's very good at her job. I'm sure she can locate your wife in no time.
Doc Nelson was the image of a small-town doctor. Sheriff Breaker had called him to the station to take a look at the cut in my head. I'm sorry you had to cut your morning fishing short for this, Doc.
Oh, she's a beauty, ain't she? Not the biggest I ever caught, if you can believe that coming from an old fisherman like me, but she's right up there. Now, she's a largemouth bass, which is what you're after if you prefer a lure. Now, if you want either trout or salmon, on the other hand, then it's fly fishing for you. You a fishing man, Mr. Wake? Oh, doesn't really matter, I suppose. But it can be very relaxing out there. You can't get me off the water this time of year. Closest thing to heaven.
I'll take your word for it, Doc.
All right, we're going to move on. There's a few collectibles in the sheriff's station.
Thank you for testing the lights, Miss Weaver. Everything seems to be fine.
I don't have the luxury of being complacent, Deputy Grant. The bulbs will need changing soon. You can't change them in the dark.
I'll be sure to take care of it, Miss Weaver. Have a nice day now.
Very good. I'll come back later on to remind you, just in case.
Mr. Wake, the sheriff is waiting for you in her office down the corridor. That was Cynthia Weaver. I guess you can call her the town eccentric. She used to be the editor of the local newspaper, but she's focused on, other things these days.
She'd fit right in where I come from.
As you can see, she's a little obsessed with maintaining the light bulbs of the whole town, refuses to step on shadows, things like that. Back in her day, she wrote about all sorts of weird things in the paper. Bright Falls has a colorful history. Of course, what small town hasn't?
Yeah, it's Mulligan here. I'm at Stucky's gas station with Thornton. There's no sign of him. Over.
Wait. Yeah, this is Thornton. Look, we've located the parade float. It's here. That's some good news, right? Stucky was supposed to be driving it at the rehearsals today. Over.
Oh, give me that. Mulligan here. Looks like someone really thrashed the garage. Over.
Okay, roger that, guys. Keep looking for Stucky. Jane's out.
Alice looked through the viewfinder, lining up the shot. Cauldron Lake was breathtaking. Something caught her eye. A figure standing in the shadows behind the cabin, like a thin woman in a black dress. She lowered the camera and looked again. No one there. Just a collection of bushes that looked vaguely human-shaped. She shook her head and laughed.
But of course we know that woman.
The sheriff wants to see you in her office, Mr. Wake.
I'm just guessing that those are developers of the game. I mean, that's what makes sense to me.
Come in, Mr. Wake. Your phone's on the desk. The battery was dead. It's charged now.
Have you started looking for my wife yet?
My men are already on it. Now, can you tell me what happened?
I'm not sure. I can't remember. We were arguing. I walked out of the cabin.
The cabin on Cauldron Lake?
How did you end up at Stucky's gas station?
I wanted to tell her what had happened last night, but I couldn't. She'd lock me up. Excuse me. I need to take this. Hello?
Alan, please help me.
Alice?
Stop talking to the law. You'll do exactly what I say if you ever want to see your wife.
Who is this?
Go to the back lot. There's a hole in the fence on the left. Look inside the junker. I left a little something there to convince you we're all on the same page here. After you ditch the cops, you're gonna meet me in Elderwood National Park. There's a spot called Lover's Peak. Midnight. Don't do nothing stupid, pal. We're watching you.
I need some fresh air. Can I go out? In the back, maybe?
Of course, Mr. Wake. I understand. You can get there through the cells. Deputy Grant can show you the way.
I'm sorry. All of this, it's just a lot to take in.
Take your time, Mr. Wake. I understand. Can I ask you what the call was about, Mr. Wake?
It's personal.
Well, we are looking for your wife, and I'm going to need your cooperation if I'm going to help you.
I need a moment, after I get some fresh air.
Okay. You can find me here. We'll talk when you feel up to it.
One of the things I wish they did was at least make it authentic time-wise. Obviously, the phone said it was like 10-something, but yet the clock here is stuck on 9:05. It's just little details like that that could help immerse the player into being in this location, I think, a little more.
Mr. Wake, can I help you with anything?
I need to get some air. The sheriff said I could go out back.
Of course, Mr. Wake. You can get there through the cell corridor. Just don't mind Walter in there. He's one of our regulars.
I thought he'd quit drinking for good.
Oh, no such luck. He went on a bender and beat Danny pretty badly. He started shouting like that the moment he woke up.
Lights on! The deputies, they don't understand. They won't listen to me. I need it to be bright in here. Thank you, man, thank you. Hey, you're all right. You're a good guy. Don't let anybody tell you different. You know, I shouldn't even be in here. The cops, they got it all wrong. See, sure, I beat him up, but I wasn't drunk. I mean, I wasn't drunk at the time. I only got drunk afterward. Okay, listen. You gotta listen carefully now. Here's the kicker. That wasn't Danny. No, sir. It only looked like him. You wanna know who it really was? I'll tell you who it really was. It was a goddamn space alien! I know it sounds like something a drunk would say, but believe me, I wasn't drunk then.
In spite of its human mask, to describe the dark presence as intelligent would have implied human qualities on something decidedly inhuman. Nonetheless, it found the one spot in the diner that was dark enough.
Some light spilled into the corridor, ravaging it. But it took the pain. Horrible as it was, the writer would soon fix that. He would be coming to the one place where it still had power.
I told him, oh yeah.
The early morning light hurt my eyes and made my head ache. The man on the phone had said, go through the fence on the left.
Well, folks, it's been another long night, and it's about time for me to sign off for a while. God knows I need my beauty sleep. Just one more item before I go. It's been a busy night for the Sheriff's Department. We've had a few broken windows, even a report of shots fired on Main Street. Deputies Mulligan and Thornton had to deal with two intoxicated young men who were celebrating the completion of their Deer Fest float. Now, folks, we get this every year. I know it's exciting, the big day's almost here, but let's save it for the party and leave the gunplay for the shooting competition, huh? There's no point in getting all worked up yet.
Make sure you get out of that as soon as you can, because obviously copyright reasons. It's going to be another page over here.
The kidnapper fired his gun one last time, and the shadow vanished into the darkness it had come from. See? Nothing to it, Wake. The thought of Alice in his hands was revolting. We stood on the wooden platform of Lover's Peak, the waterfall in the mountain behind us, the lights of the radio mast blinking red in the heights above. I fought with the urge to take a swing, force myself to speak. Let's cut the act now. Where's my wife? Alice's driver's license had been placed on the front seat. The caller meant business. Barry?
Ow! Ow! Thank God! Where the hell have you been? I've been trying to reach you for a week, you and Alice. I've been worried sick. I flew out yesterday. I'm here in Bright Falls.
Barry, listen to me. I'm at the sheriff's station. Come and get me. I can't talk now.
Ow! What the hell is going on?
I had to get the sheriff to let me go. I needed to get to Elderwood National Park to meet Alice's kidnappers. A writer is a light that reveals the world of his story from darkness, shapes it from nothingness. The way a sculptor carves a statue from a block of granite. If I stop, the world I'm making dies. Darkness will reclaim it. It's a long, hard journey into the dark. Alice's life is at stake, but I can't think about that, or I'll lose it. The dread lingers at the edge of perception. I'll push on. Anything is possible here. I'll write the story. I'll save her.
Marvelous, Sarah. I just wanted to settle all the damage the Anderson brothers might have inadvertently caused on their recent...
Are you feeling any better, Mr. Wake?
I'd like to leave. Am I free to go?
Well, we still need to talk about...
Am I under arrest?
No, of course not. But I need to know where you'll be staying so I can get in touch with you.
I'd avoid the motel. The Majestic is known for its roaches. The cabins at Elderwood are pretty nice, though.
That sounds perfect.
I'm Dr. Emil Hartman. I'd like to invite you to stay at Cauldron Lake Lodge.
Did you talk to my wife?
I had the pleasure of discussing your situation with her on several occasions.
Did you set something up with her?
I invited her here. My clinic is a place where...
Oh, hey! Oh, my!
Take it easy.
Hey, nobody move! Get your hands off of my client!
Who are you?
I'm Barry Wheeler, his agent. If you have business with Mr. Wake, you talk to me. You yokels won't know what hit you once I sick my lawyers on your asses.
No harm done, Sarah. I'm all right. I don't want to press charges. Mr. Wake, my offer still stands.
Get me out of here.
What the hell was that about, Al? We don't need a replay of that thing with the paparazzi. I thought they were gonna lock you up.
I had to talk to someone. I told Burry everything. He thought I was certifiable, but when he heard about the manuscript, I had him. The fact that I'd written something, even if I couldn't remember it, was enough for him. He smelled money. And he believed that Alice had been kidnapped. Anything beyond that was another story. I had a midnight appointment with the kidnapper in a place called Lover's Peak, somewhere in Elderwood National Park. The plan was to rent a cabin.
I don't like it, Al. I don't like any of it. It's not good. In fact, it's the absolute opposite of good.
Mr. Wake! Barry, you found him.
Hi, Rose.
Oh, wow. I was just thinking about you, too.
Great.
I was just bringing Rusty some coffee. He's on the balcony, looking after Max. Poor thing. I really need to go. Great to see you again, Mr. Wake. Later!
Who's Max?
Airhead.
Jeez, Mr. Takes a swing at everybody. This is not her fault. She's a very nice girl and, more importantly, a fan. She even has a fan site dedicated to you. And she was very helpful when I was looking for you. Seriously, Al, what you were saying in the car? Just listen to yourself. What, you shot a guy and his body just disappeared? When was the last time you slept? Are you high? Have you been drinking?
No! Look, Barry, I'm missing a week, and someone's got Alice.
Do you understand what it sounds like when you say stuff like that? Don't get me wrong, it's a good story, could be a bestseller. But when you start confusing fiction with reality, you're buying yourself a ticket to the funny farm.
Wait here.
And I just really love what they've done with the story. I know it's an old story. Obviously, the game's been out for over 11 years, but this is a remastered edition, and new generations get to experience these things, and that's what I love. So make sure you check out the sign, of course. As you can see, you usually get, you saw the little check mark thing that happened at the bottom there as it was going through. So when you see something like that, that usually tells you that that's something important, and make sure that you check it out. Next collectible in this area is going to be right here. And that's pretty much it for this first little section here area. We're going to be coming back here in just a little bit. I love how that looks exactly like the Splinter Cell medical things that you would have in the very first game.
Easy there, boy. I'm almost done.
Hey, Rusty, right? You rent cabins.
Oh, Mr. Wake. I'd shake your hand, but mine are kind of full here. Actually, I'm sorry about this. Would you mind grabbing the registration form from the desk? It's just across from Bucktooth Charlie.
Okay, sure. What happened?
Seriously, Al, you can't just go and meet a kidnapper. Those situations always end up in disaster. You gotta talk to the cops.
She's my wife, and it's my call. Can we talk about this later?
No. This whole thing... Listen, you hit your head. I mean, geez, Al, come on. You gotta understand how crazy all this sounds. If you're trying to pull a joke on me, freak me out, it's working. Ha ha, let's have a laugh on Barry. Well, you had me going there real funny, Al. You can quit it now.
I think this is the form you wanted.
And here are the keys. Okay, you're all set, Mr. Wake. Glad to have you staying here.
Thanks. Can you tell me how to get to Lover's Peak?
Oh, sure. It's at the end of the nature trail. Just follow the paths, you'll get to it eventually. It's an easy walk. Nice spot, too. If you have any trouble finding it, just keep your eyes on the radio mast. It's right below that.
Look, Al, you're asking me to believe that you shot a dude who went poof into thin air, a guy who was bulletproof until you pointed a flashlight at him. You hear that from people who end up spending time in padded rooms, strapped to their beds, wearing white shirts with too long tangled up sleeves, and eating a healthy diet of pills. Al, you make cruel jokes about people who believe that kind of stuff. You're the skeptic. You gave me an hour-long lecture on homeopathy last month. What was it? If there's no proof, it's pure bullshit. Period.
Guess the laugh's on me then.
Al, come on! I mean, okay. Okay, maybe something weird happened to you, okay?
Well, thanks for the heartfelt vote of confidence.
All I'm saying is you gotta throw me a bone here, bestseller. What would you think if it was me? There's no way you should be going out at midnight with a gun.
No one asked you to come here, Barry. Either work with me on this or go straight back to New York. Your choice.
That's just crazy talk, Al. Al? Al? We should go to the sheriff or call the FBI.
Damn it, Barry, they'll kill her! This is not a goddamn debate, Barry. I'm going to Lover's Peak. He said to come alone.
Okay then. I understand. But you're my best friend, and I'm worried that you're not right in the head. Tell me what to do to help, and I'll do it.
You stay here, and if I'm not back by morning, call the cavalry.
Just be careful with the natives, Al. These yokels are dangerous. Everybody hates a tourist, or it'll be Deliverance all over again.
Next collectible right here. And at the back of the house as well. We can have a little fun with Barry right here, though. Oh, he doesn't say it. That's a shame. Huh. Okay, well, I guess he doesn't say it. He's supposed to usually, at least in the previous version, he would say, "Aw, very funny, Al," you know, for turning the light off, but for whatever reason, they either took it out or maybe it's a timing thing. Alright, here we can pick up another coffee thermos. Some of the collectibles come pretty quick. Some of them take a little bit longer.
I'll wait here, Al. I'll hold down the fort. I'll be with you in spirit every step of the way, Al. Locking the door now.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy I would not want to be with in a situation like this.
Barry had never gotten along with Alice, but he knew Alan loved her with an almost frightening intensity. And now something had happened to Alice. And here was Al armed with a gun and saying things people got put in padded cells for. It was as if his friend had experienced a massive psychotic episode and was now totally disconnected from reality. It scared the shit out of Barry. Barry had the keys to the car he rented. It wasn't a long walk to the visitor center, and it wouldn't be any use to me in the forest. I knew I should have gone to the cops. This wasn't the smartest thing I'd ever done, but I was still angry with Barry for trying to talk me out of it. These people had called me right in the sheriff's station. The cops wouldn't scare them, and they had Alice.
We're gonna have a radio up here. Turn on the lights for good measure.
Welcome back to the show, folks. As promised, our very own Dr. Nelson has just parked his rear end in the studio. Doc, what's your Deerfest plan like?
My plan? You make it sound a lot more organized than I ever seem to manage. No plan, really. Just taking the atmosphere. I'm getting a little too rickety to do much more than that, you know.
Oh, tell me about it. No sack race for us older gentlemen, huh?
Yes, exactly, Pat. But I'm going to check out the parade, of course. And I'll be one of the pie contest judges, too.
Well, that takes a different kind of constitution.
Oh, yeah. It's my kind of exercise.
Now, Doc, seriously, you're in pretty good shape, though. You're the outdoors type. I know for a fact you're an avid fisherman.
That's right. Matter of fact, just caught a heck of a largemouth bass early this morning.
But you're not taking part in the fishing contest?
No, not this year. See, Pat, I'm just not that competitive anymore. Now I just like to take my time and enjoy the peace of it. It's no fun if I need to worry about what I'm catching, you know?
Well, considering your track record, the participants are probably pretty happy you feel that way.
Well, Pat, that's kind of you to say.
You gotta love the atmosphere in this game. They really do pull it off quite well. We have another one of those Night Spring TVs to watch here, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. I love these little bits.
Crime and punishment. The cancer and cure of civilization. But some crimes are impossible to punish, especially in Night Springs. Tonight's episode, The Man in the Mirror.
He's inside, Agent. He's a weird one.
So, you're confessing to killing that guy, huh? Why?
And it coming?
Yeah, but why would you do that? I mean, you're a nice guy. Normal. Took a kid to a soccer game. So how come at the game, you pick a guy and, quoting from the arresting officer's report here, assault the victim's head area repeatedly with the weapon of choice being a pair of bare fists? Wow, that sentence really flows, huh? Maybe you're not the literary type. Okay, so you mess him up. But why? Who was that guy? We couldn't ID him. Why would a guy like you do him like that?
I didn't like his face?
Well, you must have hated it, because you really went to town there. I mean, there's no way to tell what he looked like. No ID on him either.
That must be difficult.
But then we ran the fingerprints. Got a match. Your prints. Identical.
Huh, how about that?
Your son said you were wearing a white shirt when you took him to the game. But the white shirt is on the dead guy.
It's plenty red now.
You won't get away with this.
Do you really think that's in any way relevant to me? I had plenty of time to talk to my boy before the cops arrived, you know? He won't stop screaming, am I right? You think he's ever gonna be okay? I left my mark. Believe me.
You bastard.
What? You gonna shoot me? What's the point? I'm going to prison. You got me.
I don't understand any of this.
And you never will. Don't worry. Maybe you'll see me again, Agent. Maybe in the mirror.
I mean, just wow. It gets me every time, dude. I love it. It's so good. Make sure you take this little detour up here. Pick up another manuscript page.
Rose knew that Rusty was in love with her, and she liked him too. She liked him a lot. He taught her to dance, and life had certainly taught her the value of a man who was gentle. He treated her well, made her smile, made her feel good. But Rusty wasn't the prince of her dreams, and that tended to underline the unbearable truth.
She was no closer to that Hollywood magic than he was. The air in the visitor center was heavy with an awful smell, as if some rotten drowned thing had crawled up from its grave. Rusty kept coughing blood. My eyes were drawn to the twisted shape of his broken leg. The attack had been vicious. Max whined in his cage. Rusty's eyes were wild with fear and terror. He gasped. Mr. Wake, it happened just the way it was on that page.
That's what I love about this game. It kind of gives you what's about to happen, but it still makes you so interested to experience it, you know?
The vision left me weak. This was no head. No! Damn.
Rusty, hang on!
Oh, God!
I'm coming!
Please, help me! Anybody? Help me! Help me! Can you hear me? Anyone? Please help! Help me!
I'd pick the screwdriver up too, you know?
Somebody.
Remember, you always know which one is next. Again, they're not always in order by the question mark that you see.
The visitor center was sturdy, but the impact turned the front of the building into splinters. Rusty was thrown across the lobby like a rag doll and hit the far wall hard. It didn't hurt until he tried to move and saw his leg bend the wrong way, felt the broken ribs stabbing him on the inside. Rusty howled in pain and fear, suddenly afraid to die alone.
Aren't we all?
The ranger's office was locked. I'd need a key to get in.
Hello?
Back here! I'm back here! Hey!
Mr. Wake?
Oh, hell.
It happened just the way it was on that page. I found. Came true. It knew. So dark. It'll come back for me. You must... The lights. In the office. I have the key.
Okay, Rusty. Hang on. I'll be right back. Whatever did this couldn't be far. Rusty had found a page from the manuscript. It would help me understand what had happened. Shh. Good boy.
Just seeing if there's any bullets and stuff like that out here.
The only way to make sure that Rusty was safe was to get the power running and the lights back on. At the last instant, I changed direction and threw myself down. The axe splintered the trunk of a tree. I stumbled into the pool of bright light. My lungs burned. I was too exhausted to move. I tensed as I waited for the killing blow, but it never came. I raised my head. Nothing moved in the darkness beyond. For the moment, bathed in the cold light, I was safe. Someone had destroyed the circuit breaker. There was no way to get the lights back on. Rusty! Liquid darkness.
Just need hunting licenses.
Something had torn a mammoth-sized hole in the wall.
Please don't feed the animals.
Fishing!
Is only
Who purchase a park?
fishing.
License! Obey!
Operators instructions.
At all times.
Rusty? Rusty, no!
Two bears and wolves never approach any other wildlife closer than... Pets must be leashed.
At all times.
Never leave! It is
Against the law.
Sword historical from the park. So action-packed. The way they did this entire game, man. This is definitely one of the better games of this century, for sure. Absolutely love it. And I wanted you guys to know that there are points where I will be stopping and then kind of restarting the game at a later time. I'll try to keep the edits so that you don't see too much of that, but I can't play the whole thing straight through. Having a kid is a tricky thing, you know, you're always kind of doing the best you can when you have kids and stuff like that. So I kind of take a break every 20 minutes or so to make sure that I'm ready to keep going.
What the hell was that? I saw from the window. I saw something.
Forget about it, Barry. It's just me going crazy.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. You're not crazy. I wish you were crazy, but you're not crazy. Ow, be careful.
Stay in the cabin. Don't open the door for anyone. I mean it.
All right, so there is our ultimate goal. We're going to get over to, not ultimate goal, but that's closer to where we're going to be heading as we cross along this bottom area here.
In that last instant of consciousness, Rusty thought about Rose. He was older than she was. Rose was barely out of her teens, but she made him feel young and forget what a train wreck his long-dead marriage had been. He still wore the ring. He'd been waiting for her to tell him to take it off. Now she never would.
As you come across here, you're going to want to go to the left. As you can see, there's a little
Lover's
sign.
Peak was at the far end of the nature trail.
Going to be heading into a dark cave. Little Easter egg if you look up. Don't forget to grab the sign. And then, of course, you can pick up a shotgun here. There's another area to pick a shotgun up as well, so if you miss this area, do not fret. It's a great thing about this game is that they'll put specific weapons in multiple locations just in case you don't venture off to the left here and do a little exploring. Okay, we got a little bit of a fight scene coming up, so get ready. Move straight forward first. I think it's easier if you do this. Get a nice little dodge there. Like a glove. Don't forget to come back and at least pick up a few batteries if you need them, but I don't think there's anything else really here. That's that place that I was telling you before. As you can see, there's even a location down there that we're going to be getting to here really soon. Going to head up the right side here. This is going to allow us to pick up another manuscript page.
Nobody in Bright Falls seemed to know where Al was, but Rose, the waitress at the diner, had seen him. From what Burry could tell, Al pretty much fell off the face of the earth when he left the diner. Rose was just the kind of fan that Al hated, but she really tried to help. She was smart, too. Knew a lot about what was going on in the town. Knew a lot about Al. Even knew who Burry was. Burry liked her. That was no big surprise. When it came to women, Burry and Al rarely saw eye to eye.
This is also where you can pick up a shotgun if you miss the other one. There's a sign that you're going to see directly down here. But you're going to get attacked right away, so you need to make sure you back up. He's a bigger guy, so you do have to watch out for him as well. Oh, I can't believe that actually hit me. As you can see, he can hit you like that, so you gotta watch out. Just missed it. Alright, now you do automatically heal yourself back up, but after a while, but if you just stand in the light, you'll heal as well. So there's multiple ways to heal. Again, as you can see, that was a very tough one. One guy is a lot bigger than everybody else. Sorry, make sure you read the sign. And make your way down. Now, I think if you're smart, you can kind of manipulate the game here. If you leave, say, one of the enemies from the previous section, these guys won't spawn. So there are ways to be smart. But I actually like to take on the enemies, because I find these enemies to be just very fun. When you hear this noise, it essentially means that multiple enemies will just, kind of in a way, just keep coming, really. So that's why you want to move fast and never kind of stop. Oh, I hit the wrong button, sorry. For some reason I was thinking it was E. Alright, this is a good chance to get yourself a little nice breather here. You're going to pick up another collectible. 2 of them actually right here. Another manuscript page.
I turned the corner, afraid of what the flashlight's beam might reveal. Suddenly, a roughly painted symbol of a torch glowed in the light. Behind it, hidden by a rock, sat a battered metal trunk. It was here for a reason. Packed with supplies, batteries, flares, ammo. Things you need to make it through the darkness of the night. Something left behind by someone who knew what I knew, and more.
Jump up over here and grab this. There you go. Another big dude here. Oh, it's a little close there. They come from all over, don't they? That was a little trickier right there. So let's go ahead and... Do we have any? Nope, we're out of ammo. Okay. Seeing if there's any ammo around, which I don't think there is. Alright, let's keep going. Getting the light. As you can see, our health is already going back up, so never really fear about health in this game. Even if you get low, you're always going to be able to get more, because it'll just automatically kind of come back to you. We've got the sign, and we've got a thermos. And a manuscript page, and that's going to be the last collectible for a little bit.
Agent Nightingale didn't want to be in Bright Falls. These little communities revolted him, and he didn't like the trees or the coffee. He now knew that impossible horrors lurked behind the storefronts and smiles. He desperately wanted to turn the car around and just drive until he passed out or ran out of road and booze. But he had a job to do. He had a rider to catch, at any cost.
You would think this would be a perfect spot for an ambush, but since they put a light right behind you, I mean, it's really impossible for anyone to get up here. A little missed opportunity there, I think.
We gotta get moving. More of them coming. That flashlight's kid stuff. The flares will keep the bastards away.
You can see them too?
Hell, of course I see them. Come on, we gotta move.
Why?
Because that's the way the story goes.
Yeah, but...
Let's move!
I lost my gun back there.
Oh, I've got a gun. Just keep that light steady on him.
It took a moment, but then I recognized him. He'd been on the ferry when I first arrived here with Alice. He knew my name. We were headed in the direction of Lover's Peak. There was no way this was a coincidence. He was the kidnapper.
Come on, Wake! You better keep up. Hear that? It's them. What I got for you!
It's challenging when they get on you like this. It really is.
Bring it!
Especially when you got him. He makes it so much tougher as well. He is not the best at shooting these guys, clearly. Oh, that was close.
Lover's Peak. Right up these stairs, Wake. Use the flares from the emergency box to hold them off while I get these boards off.
Give me the gun.
Yeah, no can do, Wake.
Are you kidding? Give me the gun!
No time for back talk. Pull them off, damn it! Just a little longer. Scare them off. Get some light on those bastards. That'll keep them off us. Just a little longer. I almost got it.
Hold it down and it keeps them away.
It's open.
And that's all you got to do. It's that simple.
Oh, you feeling better now, Wake? All cozy and safe. Better get ready. They'll be on us soon.
Alright, here is the final collectible that's in this area right here. And we got one big standoff, so get ready.
This is it, Wake. Last stand. There's more flares here. Get ready. We fight them as long as they keep coming.
Give me the goddamn gun! They're coming!
That's not how this goes. Get with the program, Wake. Boy! Ah!
Let's cut the act now. Where's my wife?
I knew you were gonna say that. I read it all before. You're a hell of a writer. Congratulations. You're gonna bring about something glorious and terrible once we get you some proper editorial control.
What the hell are you talking about? Where's Alice?
I want the entire manuscript, or she's gonna suffer bad.
You touch her up.
No! Come back here! I swear I'll kill you if you hurt Alice! Do you hear me? Come back here!
He had Alice, and he wanted the manuscript because he thought it held some magical power. But I had no manuscript to give him. I had to get back to Burry and figure out my next move.
All right, there's going to be the first collectible in this section here.
On more than one occasion, Alice had tried to explain to me how it felt to be afraid of the dark. To her, darkness wasn't simply the absence of light, but something more tangible than that. It was something you could touch and feel. Worse than that, it was something with a mind of its own, something malicious and malign. For her, things changed when they were wrapped in darkness. They turned into something else, something foreign, and nothing was safe or innocent anymore. I'd never really understood what she meant, until now.
So there's going to be some traps up ahead. No enemies will appear unless you accidentally hit one of those traps. So if you don't have to fight any enemies, then obviously do your best to not get hit. But if you do get hit, only one enemy is going to come out, so it's not like it's a big deal. But you still need to be careful, of course. You can see them. They're easily laid, or they're easy to see. Just make sure you do not step on them. These are the same types of traps that you see in Resident Evil 4. The bear traps. So, nice little dodge and weave here. And as long as you do it correctly, you're good to go. And that's the last of them. Shoot your can. And pick up the manuscript page that's going to be on the other side of this.
Sarah didn't care about the legal threats Wake's agent had made. She let Wake go without argument, because there was something about him she couldn't quite put her finger on, something that reminded her of her father. She didn't think Wake would hurt his wife. Then she thought about the way he waded into Hartman, that hair-trigger rage flaring up without warning.
Can make it just in time if you're quick enough. Although it's not easy, obviously. Alright. Whoa, he was literally right there, so even though you don't see him, he's still here. Alright, so just gonna wait until they come, because you know they're about to come. All right. It's going to be a manuscript page.
The night had been one desperate situation after another. I was exhausted, and my body felt as though it had been chewed up and spat out. The flashlight was heavy in my hand, and each pull of the trigger sent a painful shock up my arm. But I was finally out of the woods, and things were looking up. That's when I heard the chainsaw.
Chainsaw? Oh yeah, that's right. Pick up the hunting rifle, of course. There's going to be 2 places you'll be able to pick it up, so don't fret too much.
I had heard the plane fall. It made no sense. It was clear that it had just fallen here, but it was very old and obviously hadn't flown in decades. Looking at it sent a shiver down my spine.
You guys know the deal about these things here. Obviously, there's one of those too. There's going to be a few of them here on this. Just want to make sure you get them all. Should be it. Come over here. Remember, it always switches you over once you pick something like that up, so as long as you're fully aware of it, you should be okay. No, you don't have to do that, but I think it's just awesome, and I love it. Oh, wow, right in the back, dude. All right, we got it. Got to be super quick there, as you can see. Let's get ready for some more enemies right here. Just watch out, make sure you don't accidentally knock yourself over. you watch out for him. There you go. That's how you can get by them. It's very tricky to do, actually, and that took me a few times to figure out that you can actually kind of bypass them. Because what I do is, obviously, in some of the missions, I go ahead a little bit, find out exactly what I need to do, and then we do it. Woo! Don't worry, we'll heal up. Now, watch out where you step. There's going to be these all around, so you do need to be careful. I apologize if my dog is barking in the background.
The logging site was a mess. The modular office had been pushed off the cliff. Deputy Thornton climbed up from the wreckage excited, breathing hard from the exertion. Nobody there. It's weird. Don't you think that's weird? Bored, Mulligan let out a mighty snort. Hell, it's always weird, Thornton. Just a question of sorting out what kind of weird it is this time around. When Burry saw the darkness attack the visitor center, it made him a believer. The men Al said he'd shot, they hadn't been just locals on crank. Somehow the world had changed, like the channel had been switched without warning. You think you're watching a sitcom, and you're really watching a horror show. When the birds started attacking the cabin, Burry wasn't surprised, just terrified.
Little hint of something coming forward. You can see the game gives you quite a bit of the things you need in order to fend off. I can't always got me in a corner, dude. Dude's got me in a freaking corner, man. I can't even back out. There we go. Sheesh. Oh, shit. Wow. That sucks. When you have like a small area like this right here, man, you can get totally trapped in a corner, but just, whoo, that was intense. Again, this is where you can pick up the hunting rifle for the second time. Jump over here, and you're going to get a manuscript page. Man, that was intense.
Shadows stirred and the wind picked up as I ran through the forest. I felt the dark presence turning its gaze toward me. Then the moonlight was blotted out by dark shadows that raced violently across the ground, moving too swiftly to be natural. Darkness gathered between the trees and melted again to reveal the taken. No natural path had brought them here.
Got a nice big boss fight coming up ahead here, so... Oh, geez, she almost got me too, dude. I couldn't even dodge him. Oh, man. We got some few close calls on this section here. Obviously, wait till your health gets full regeneration, because that's not even the boss fight, so... It's very tough to dodge those guys when they come at you. So you just got to be careful. Let yourself kind of work up. Flares are going to be your best friend. Flares and, of course, your... I don't even know how many we have. We got 4? I mean, let's use them.
Occupation.
Don't be fooled. That's a lot harder than it looks. But obviously having the flare in that situation really, really helps out. Or the flare gun, should I say.
Burry?
Ow! The porch is covered with birds. They've got all Hitchcock on me.
Stay out of sight. I'm on my way. Don't open the door.
What, am I crazy?
Stay hidden. I'll be there soon. Just make sure you keep the lights on.
Camera movement's really fast in this game, so sometimes I get a little mixed up when I'm trying to move the camera there. Alright, we're finally out of the woods, ladies and gentlemen.
I still had to reach Burry at the cabin, but at least I was out of the woods.
Don't forget the thermos right here. And there's going to be a manuscript up ahead.
I'd have to get the car from the locked garage. It would get me back to Burry faster, and the headlights were a welcome bonus. The FBI agent's command froze me in place. I considered surrender. It was all falling apart anyway. I could give in, let someone else deal with it, but it felt all wrong. Call it instinct, his posture, the way he held the gun. He was no friend. Shots ringing in my ears, I leaped for the hole in the fence and stumbled into the darkness beyond.
You're going to have a TV show to watch back here.
A story is not a machine that does what you tell it. A story is a beast with a life of its own. You can create it, shape it, but as the story grows, it starts wanting things of its own. Change one thing and you set off a chain reaction of events that spreads through the whole thing. The characters have to be true to themselves. The events need to follow a logic that fits the story. A single flaw and the magic is gone. The story dies. Alice dies.
I love the little TV bits. I really do hope that got some of you. I didn't want to say anything, that way you could be somewhat surprised. This is a horror game after all, and I do want to immerse you into it. I try not to talk too much, but it's kind of hard to do when you're doing a walkthrough. Obviously, you need to explain a few things every now and then. I've always debated creating a second channel where I do no commentary playthroughs. If that's something you'd be interested in, let me know. Essentially, it would just be me removing the voice and just having the videos themselves with no voice on, say, a separate channel. Notice how you have a battery, so you still need to be careful. Go to the right. We're going to pick up a thermos. I mean, this is something you really weren't expecting to be in the game when you first played it. So it was a very pleasant surprise to see some driving sections. You see what happens sometimes when you back up, it'll like turn the camera around. Veer off to the right here. You'll see it once it gets into sight. Gonna have to be fast, as you can see, as he opens the door ever so slowly. Oh, he didn't do it. Come on, hurry up. I wish he would have done that a little bit faster. Again, you don't have to mess with every enemy, so never think that you do. Some of them you can bypass. But at the same time, it's really fun. Alright, go over here, and we're going to... You can pick up another hunting rifle. Gives you a lot of options. A lot of, should I say, chances to pick it up. Make sure you shoot that. Now, as you can see, I mean, you can continue with this vehicle if you want, but it does obviously have some damage taken to it already, so you can switch vehicles and keep going. Pick up your thermos, and we've got a page to pick up as well over in the back area here. However, with this section here, be careful, because you're going to have multiple guys coming at you. So try to get in here, obviously, as quick as you can.
There was no misunderstanding. Cauldron Lake was where Alice and I had stayed, but there was no cabin and no island. I was missing a week. What had happened to me? What had happened to Alice? I had to get her back. I couldn't face life without her.
As we all, none of us can face life without our beautiful women that help us get along through life. Our wonderful wives, daughters, all that jazz. Mothers. Alright, so we can continue on at this point. Just really a few more collectibles. As you can see, plenty of cars around for you to grab if your car has taken too much damage. Obviously, it's a little harder to maneuver this thing. There's a little area down there, but there's no collectibles, so... Oops. Much, much easier to do this with a controller. And you can see we're just back where we started the chapter.
The flare gun was probably the best weapon I could imagine against the dark things I was facing.
As you can see, sometimes it pays off to not necessarily take out as many enemies, right? Because if we would have left just one enemy, then we would have had a better shot at this. So if you leave one enemy and you use that strategy, it's going to help you out a lot because other enemies won't be able to spawn.
It was the kidnapper.
You son of a bitch! Where's my wife?
Enough horseplay, Wake. You deliver the manuscript, and you can have your woman back. Simple as that.
I don't... Listen. I'm gonna need time to finish it. I still need to write the ending. I need a week.
Not done?
I need a week.
2 days. The old Bright Falls coal mine is nearby. You can find it easy, city boy. The main building, there at noon. You bring the manuscript, you'll get your wife. Not, well, get me?
Yes, I get you.
So there's going to be a manuscript right here on the ground. It's going to be about right in here. However, that's only going to be there on nightmare mode, so you won't be able to pick it up here. So for those of you that are interested, you can see the manuscript section, and you can see that every manuscript has been collected except for the nightmare mode only. But I showed you where it was, so even though I'm not going to get that achievement for getting them all because I'm not doing it on nightmare, I'm helping you to be able to get that achievement. But you do have to play the game once in order to actually get it. We got a little... I mean, I guess it's a boss fight in some sense of the word. Make sure you pick up the flare gun as much as possible. You're going to need all of these flare shots, really. And flares. You don't know where they're coming from. That's the only hard part. But once you find them, then much easier. Don't forget to pick this supply crate up before the cinema starts, and you're good to go. Chapter 2 complete.
I'm sorry for thinking you were having a psychotic episode, man.
I sent Burry to the town to ask around about a man fitting the kidnapper's description. He'd go through the archives of the local paper. Perhaps he could learn something. Anything about the island and the cabin that had disappeared. The man wanted a manuscript. I had to try to write him one to get Alice back. For me, the supernatural had always been nothing but a metaphor for the human psyche, a tool to use in writing fiction. Now, it was happening for real, and I couldn't put a single word on paper.
Barry Wheeler speaking.
This is Rose.
Rose?
I found Mr. Wake's pages.
Oh, you sweet, brilliant girl.
Could you and Mr. Wake come get them? I live in the trailer park outside the town.
We'll be there in less than an hour.
Bye now.
See you soon.
Have a great day. Hope you come back soon. Welcome to the Old
Dear Diner.
Good girl.